Phillip Meyers DC. Dr. Meyers is a chiropractic physician living and working in my hometown, St. Louis, Missouri. The way to get started for optimal well-being, integration of mind, body, and spirit, real simple, and no charge, non-threatening. Make that first phone call for that first private, no-charge consultation. Call his office, set it up at area code 314-878-6868. Good morning, doctor. Do you have any follow-up? My proper tip of the day, sir?
Well, I think your proper tip of the day is awesome. And it goes down to the way you just described it, is have a goal in mind on what you want to accomplish. And doing everything, setting yourself up for that success. And that couldn't be the most, that is the most proper way to look at what you want to happen in your life, is set a goal in mind and keep it singular. And yeah, okay, so like the main, like they say, like the big goal is like, okay, well, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, that's a huge umbrella goal. Okay, well, then what is the weight that you want to look at? Okay, I want to, let's say you're 250, and you want to be at 185. Let's just say that. Okay. Now, okay, so that's your goal. That's 185. That's the target goal. Okay, perfect. Now, when was the last time you were there? That's the first question you want to ask.
Right.
If your body's never been there before, then you're going to be experiencing something that you've technically never experienced. So it's going to be very unfamiliar. Or have you ever experienced it before? Oh, yeah, I was 185 5 years ago. Okay, perfect. Well, then you can kind of look at what happened 5 years ago that got me into the shoes that I'm in today. And you can start looking at, oh, wow, well, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And kind of just look at like two or three things that happened. And then you get to, when you start losing the weight, not just from a dietary standpoint or an exercise standpoint or any standpoint, that you want to then look at those things and start working on those things. Because it's those things that have created your protection grid that got you to the shoes that you're in today. So I started overeating this because of this. I got depressed because of this. I became unmotivated because of this. And those are the things that you should start looking at. Let's say you lost somebody, and your mechanism for grief was to stop being as active as you were, and you started eating a little extra stuff here and there. And it just kind of snowballed into laziness and sloth and just all these other type of things that just don't work for you. Well, those are the things that you're like, okay, well, I don't like the outward manifestation now. Obviously, I look and feel gross. And now those are the things that you have the opportunity to work on.
Well, doctor, once a person establishes these foundational matters, then it's time to begin the real work, isn't it?
Well, yeah. First things first. Get rid of what a friend of mine calls the BCTs. The buts, the can'ts, and the tries. The buts, the can'ts, and the tries are always just going to tell you a lie.
Explain, please.
I'd really like to stay, but I have to go. Well,
Okay.
no, so your first statement was a complete lie. You don't want to stay. You're going to go. Now, how could you rephrase that? I'm having a really good time. However, I need to go. Okay, you are having a good time. And crap, I have a meeting in 10 minutes, I have to go. Okay, so that isn't a lie. But does have a lie in it. So, and when you use the then try, and Yoda told us this ages ago, there is no try, there is only do. And everybody, how do I explain that one? Everybody try to stand up. Good job. It's very successful. We all tried to stand up. But you never do. So when you start hearing, so in a lot of these programs are very, all of them, they're very subconscious. You'll say but a lot in your life and not even realize it. And you'll say try a lot and not ever realize it. I mean, even being aware of it as much as I do, and getting to be conscious of it, you really catch yourself a lot. And then the biggest one of all, the one that costs you the most, but costs you about $1. Tries cost you about $1, but the word can't cost you $5. It is one that costs you the most. And literally the word can't, biomechanically, biochemistry, energetically, shuts down the system completely. You literally cannot do something when you have the word can't in your processing of that doing that you're getting to eventually experience. And so that's a very important process to work through, is when you set a goal in mind, recognize a couple things. Have I experienced this before, or have I not experienced this before? And then where are my buts, tries, and can'ts keeping me from accomplishing that goal? And then working through the process of experiencing your experience with letting go of your buts, your tries, and your can'ts, keeping your eye on the prize, and working through what shows up in the world for you. Oh, okay, so I want to lose this 45 pounds or so, and here I have true type 2 diabetes. Well, I can't do this. Well, okay, there you go. You have to look at, you get to now change your vocabulary. And you've heard me a couple times purposely say it, and then I've corrected myself purposely on the air. I don't know if anybody's caught it yet, but have to versus get to. When you have to do something, it has less of an impact when you get to do something. Hey, I get to get up in the morning and go work out versus I have to go wake up in the morning and go work out.
Attitude.
You can, yeah,
Attitude.
It's big. It is attitude. Attitude's huge with it.
Oh, yes.
But language plus attitude is so important. Utilizing the proper language, and it's the language that you hear in your head. It's the language of your psychology that is the most important. I get to go out and be active versus I have to go do my 2 miles today. Well, how much kicking and screaming are you going to do when you have to go do these 2 miles? Are you going to have a smile on your face when you go do those 2 miles? Are you going to get to allow yourself to experience the endorphin high and start feeling better when you go do those 2 miles, when you have to go do it? Your posture will change. I have to. Your shoulders will slump. Your head will jut forward. Your back will butch out. You'll have weakness in your knees and your ankles because you gave all your power away. And then you're going to expect results. Oh, man, I've been walking these 2 miles every single day for 3 weeks now, and I haven't gotten anywhere. Well, yeah, because you don't want to. Versus then getting to go do. And the thing is, when I say this, it sounds so easy. Hey, have a positive attitude and change your vocabulary. It is honestly like that. It is honestly hard. It is not an easy thing, and it's literally we go at this kicking and screaming all day long. And I've said this 1 trillion times on this show. You can have the best supplement on the market for XYZ issue. What do I take for my problem? And that supplement will only work to the degree that your neurological system will allow it. And here's a more concrete definition to it. If you're living a but, a try, and a can't, and a have-to scenario in your life with that problem, that supplement will only be allowed to work to the degree that the energy of that mind, attitude, vocabulary outlet will allow it. And it won't do any more. Because, you know why? Biochemically, the receptor sites on the cell are no longer receiving the data. They're not reaching out for that supplement saying, oh, sweet, cool, thank you very much, with gratitude, utilizing that information, changing the cellular response and exuding it outward to the world. And Bruce Lipton showed that beautifully in his book, Biology of Belief. And if you want to understand what I just talked about on a really cool level, I recommend getting that book. And Candace Pert, in her book, and I can't remember the title for it right now, but Candace Pert, Molecules of Emotion. Those thoughts, those words, can't, those words, but, those words, try, those words, have, when you say them and think them and feel them and experience them, literally have biochemistry that it sends to the body. And that biochemistry is received by the receptor sites of the cell.
I want to give people a very graphic example, and I don't know if you and I ever talked about this, Doctor, but a gentleman named Carl Joseph, born with one leg, who was a champion football player. An amazing story that almost nobody knows about, especially those under 50 years old. But if you put Carl Joseph in the YouTube search box, you will see the film of this young man playing full contact varsity high school football, having only one leg. And I use that, I pointed out to my grandson, the football player, as to what attitude and diligence can accomplish, which is basically anything. He was a lineman, and there was no quarter given, nothing, no special treatment, nothing out of the ordinary. He's in that lineup on the football field as a lineman, going full blast.
Nice.
We got a break here, sir. We'll be right back. Doctor, before we move on, what this young man, Carl Joseph, did, playing both varsity football and varsity basketball, by all conventional thought and theory and knowledge, that can't and shouldn't have happened. But it did. And it shows the power of mind over body, mind over matter, and that there's no excuse. How many tens of thousands of young high school athletes with two legs cannot do what this young man did with one leg? I think it's a great example and something we can look at and learn by, sir.
It is. And bringing that into your life, I mean, that's why, like, you watch, like, movies like Rocky or anything like that, and these motivational movie types. It's just like you see, especially with sports. Sports is a really good thing because it's like it's in the field. And looking at, and I always said this, that we're all athletes in our own way, shape, or form. Whether you're playing a sport or not, your everyday life is an event of some sort. And allowing yourself to take that inspiration and applying it to what you want to accomplish. And what they don't show you in the movies and in sports is those words, buts, tries, can'ts, and have-tos really need to go. And you get to allow yourself to let those things go. And in the same process, when it comes to working through the process of healing, you are also allowing yourself to let go of blaming a situation for why and how you are in the position that you're in, as well as letting go of judging scenarios and including yourself for scenarios that you're in, and then changing the perception of what's possible for yourself and moving in that direction. And things can happen to you that change biochemistry, physiology, neurology, no problems. If you, though, still stay stuck in buts, tries, and can'ts, have-tos, blames, and judgments, you're literally going to stay stuck in the scenario that those words and that biochemistry and that energy and that attitude keep you in. And it won't be until those things are let go of and processed out that the real results that you're looking for will manifest. So if you're having difficulty or you're stuck in something, you find out you have something that you don't want in the world. And that could be anything. Money, job, career, health, lack of health, love, connection. Those words are in your lifestyle. And it's as simple as you get to say the words, I let go
of XYZ. I let go of the buts. I let go of the can'ts. I let go of the tries. I let go of the have-tos. And I get to be what? What is it that you get to be? And then do those things and reap the benefits of that.
Absolutely. That's a good place to stop, Doctor. We have a break. Call numbers 800-313-9443. We'll be back after the break. Stay tuned. Doctor.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So those are really important concepts for everybody to grasp. And it is literally the, if you want to call it the magic bullet, that's your magic bullet. But it's not something you take, it's something you do. And it is a process. And here's the thing. The next key, set yourself up for success. Key thing there. So, for example, if you want to lose this weight, you want to change your lifestyle, you want to help the cancer, the diabetes, the money, job, career, the love in your life, what is something that you can then focus on to create success? And so when I'll give you a story from our life is with family and chaos in the house and getting people going to school and getting dressed, going to work, workouts, and all this type of stuff. Our mornings were becoming a crazy tornado of a jumbled mess. And so we're like, okay, stop, wait, what's happening? Why are we now starting to fail in what we were doing so well in earlier? Like, oh, well, this changed. So now what we did is we started realizing we had to set our mornings up even more efficiently for success. So each night before we go to bed, the blender's out, the teas are prepped, the water's in the kettle, and so and the different types of things that we would need to do in the we get to do in the morning are already set up for us. So when we wake up, hey, turn on the stove. Water's already in the kettle. Honestly, do you think though that it's like, oh, well, just put water in the kettle in the morning? Well, that extra 15 seconds and one extra task that we do not have to do anymore is already taken care of, and all we're allowed to do now is we get to just turn on the stove. And so your have-tos get turned into get-tos from setting yourself up for success. So you also get to see how action steps and setting forth a plan changes outcome. And it really helps that out a lot. So setting yourself up for success is wonderful. And then once you get in a routine with setting yourself up for success in that way, then what's the next step? Where does that plan start falling through, start falling down the tubes? It's like, oh, okay, that's where it is. So then you get to set yourself up for continual success down the line. So until eventually it just all of a sudden cycles its way through all the way back to the beginning through the end of the day. So the next thing after breakfast, obviously, is your afternoon. So setting yourself up for success for your afternoon. Well, what does that look like for you? Is that making sure that your lunches are prepped, that you don't have to then do prep work. Do you have the food in the refrigerator? Do you have the distractions taken out of your life, so that when your afternoon's there, it's not like, oh shoot, it's now 2:00 and I've completely missed lunch, but now it's around noon. It's like, okay, it's lunchtime. It's time for lunch. What are you having for lunch? And anybody that knows bubble guppies know that one, if you have kids.
Okay. Sorry.
So it's funny having kids. Your vocabulary changes so much. So setting yourself up for that success is very key. And then it's like, okay, now it's dinner. Okay, again, setting yourself up for success for dinner. And then it's the evening routine again to set yourself up for the next day. And if you look at it as this big umbrella, you want to lose weight, and you don't set yourself up for these successful outcomes, and you just try to lose weight, you're never going to make it, because there's action steps associated with the successful route that you're looking for. And that goes with anything. And so there's these really cool nuggets of information that you can do. And just the stuff that we're all getting on this show right now literally is $4,000 to $5,000 of information that you would pay and buy and look at in a seminar series, to then have a coach to coach you through, and you're getting the nuggets right now. So then applying those nuggets to the best of your ability is what needs. And then needing a coach, needing support, that's what we're all here to do. And that's why people come to us. It's like, okay, yeah, I got that. Let's now look at the support team that you get to set up around you, so that you're also successful. And having the coach, having the team, having the friends that all are in that chain together. And I'll give a great example of a client of mine. One of his things that he's succeeding on is quitting smoking. We have a whole anti-smoking protocol to get people to quit smoking, and it's very successful. And he decided to start on this, and he told all his friends that he was going to do this, and they all looked at him like, okay, well, let's see if it happens. And then I asked him, like, so do you hang around people that smoke? He's like, yeah, but here's the problem. I'm the one that pretty much enrolls them into their smoking habit anyways. So it's going to look like as I start quitting, they'll get to start quitting as well, because I won't be enrolling them as much into, hey, let's go have a cigarette. And so we're all going to be changing the lifestyle together. And so what does he have? He has this team set up. And then anybody else around him that wants to work on, one of the things that we do is we desensitize you from the smoking habits energetically, to reverse the polarity of how your body tastes these cigarettes, and they end up tasting really nasty.
That's a good thing.
We use that through acupuncture and biofeedback to invert the taste receptors of your body to literally feel disgusted when you have a cigarette.
That's a good thing. Doctor, we got some callers on hold. First, we have Rob in Chicago. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, John. Good morning, Doctor. I agree with you totally on the positive aim in life of how to do things, because in my career as a mechanic, if I get a new, a problem job, and I know that it's going to be a loser, it's going to be a super loser if I just keep grumbling about it instead of putting my head down, focusing on it, looking at the finish line and just knowing, okay, I'll get through it. At some point, I'll get through it. With a lot of other things, with trying to set myself up in a day, you're right about that. A lot of this is preparedness stuff, living a a prepared lifestyle of, people go, oh, it's the end of the day. I didn't have a chance to eat. How can you not have a chance to eat? If I do that, my body says, I'm done. That's it. Time out. They get so busy with the minutia of life in their job, and I can't stop. You're not a slave. You can do it. And I focus on realistic. Well, I set my goals high because, and even if I don't know how I'm going to do a new project, like my garden I set up, I knew that I wanted the garden. I wanted to do it. I went out there. I set it up. I just started doing it, taking steps to set it up, and it came out much better than I imagined because I just got to it, and I let my imagination. I remained fluid, adaptable, and I was content with what I got because so many people set themselves up to say, oh, they have to have a certain thing a certain way, and they don't allow themselves flexibility, and then they get upset because they didn't get it that way, and then nothing's good at that point. But
yeah, letting go of expectation is a key, because here's the thing: you don't know what's going to show up, and the thing that's supposed to show up is going to be looking you square in the face, and if your expectation is something else, you're going to miss it.
Right, and you'll miss something very good, or it can be just as equally good as what you were looking for.
Exactly, and you're absolutely right. Set your expectations high. Then look at the action steps, point by point, that will get you to that big, successful goal. But like you said, you have to set yourself up in the small little things. But yes, set your goals high. If your goal is to make $1 million at the end of the year, okay. Well, what do you need to start doing? What do you get to start doing to accomplish that scenario? And looking at it from, okay, I have to do this or I get to do this, and what is it that you really want to accomplish? And setting your mind into that intent is extremely important.
Right, and if you set your goals or sights too low, quite frankly, like this weekend, I was doing some rear engine setting up in the backyard. And I said, okay, I want to get this set up and get things going. Next thing you know, I was all done. It was still only 2 o'clock, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't have a plan for anything else. What am I supposed to do now? I've been too efficient. So then, then I started thinking of the other things to get the garden going and things like that. But, a lot of people make their life, I'll make it easy on myself. If you don't challenge yourself, you'll never know what your expectations are. Or what your potentials are, really.
Your potential, exactly.
Thanks.
So, yeah, thank you. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, next we go to Rick in Missouri. Good morning, Rick. Hello,
Rick.
Wake up, Rick. Your turn.
I think we lost him.
Well, Rick's on a break.
Rick's never on a break.
Well, he's a pretty productive guy.
Very productive guy. Now, that's a guy that has his mind set on what he wants.
Absolutely. He's been has a lot of useful calls and insights that he's brought to our attention here on my radio show. Okay, well, let's continue, Doctor. Maybe Rick will get back with us.
Hopefully. So, yeah, these are, and so here you go. These are the keys and tools. However, here, when you're feeling low, when you have depressive thoughts, when you have sluggish brain, when you have issues in the tissues that have been buried alive for so long that they've reared their ugly head into a manifestation of a disease that literally feels as though it's keeping you trapped, locked, and stuck in your world, that is where my work shines, and where other practitioners of the work that we do really helps flow the body into great success. A great example of this. I have a client. She's a leader of a spiritual center here in St. Louis. And this lady exudes the thinking mindset that you and I have just been talking about for the past show. I mean, literally. She comes into my office, and she's overweight, she's tired, she's not exercised, she's not eating right, and she's just like, I can't figure it out. I mean, she's got the tools in her basket. She uses them every single day.
Right.
And there were literally issues in the tissues that were locked inside her neurological network
Hold that
through
thought,
the spine, through the acupuncture system.
Hold that thought. We have a break, and Rick is back. We'll be back after the break.
Good morning. And Doc, I know I owe you a phone call. I'll get right on that. So I just have a very short question. It's kind of an interesting thing for me anyway. When I get out of bed, the alarm goes off at 5. Get out of bed, think, okay, let's rip off some push-ups and some crunches, and immediately there is a discussion it's an argument in my head that starts to take place, and it's like, yeah, but wait a minute, that's going to be uncomfortable. And I get annoyed about that because we all know what we should be doing, and yet there's this little voice in your head that says, yeah, but let's not. You must have a magical sentence that will take care of that, right?
And you've said it quite well already. It's the yes buts.
Yeah.
And it goes into that phrase of letting go of what you're blaming on. It's like, yes, but I'll be sore, or yes, but it's too early, and letting go of blaming the outward source is like, it's all within inside of you, and then taking responsibility for what you're feeling, and then applying letting go of the blame, letting go of the judgment. Because what's soreness? What are you judging? Like, you're judging soreness as to be something inconvenient, and so letting go of the judgment of it. And so it all goes back to those three things: there are two things: letting go of blame and letting go of judgments, and then applying things. So yeah, you just applied it. So we had the but before, but the yes but is even more devastating.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, see, that's the deal. I mean, it's just that those little things that are the difference between the old you and the new you, or the person you were and the person you might like to be. It's just one of those strange things that kind of gets in the way.
Exactly. And I corrected you on purpose. It's you get to be.
Yeah. Okay.
And creating it in that space.
Gentlemen, we are
so important.
We are out of time, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, see you, Rick.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll have you back Friday morning. Appreciate it.
All right, John. You have a good day.
Okay.